Hakadosh Boker Tov. Masechet Ketubot Daf Amud Aleph the Mishnah. We are 48-1 on the Mishnah. Yetoma shenitarsa v'nitkarsha. We're talking about now Yetoma, an orphan that she was nitarsa. She got engaged and then she got divorced. Rabbi Elazar Omer. Rabbi Elazar says ha'ones chayav. The one that is onesota me'anesota, which means he violates her, he's obligated to pay the knas, and they give it to her, not to the father. So somebody asked me that this morning. What happens if there's no father? So that's very good. Now, if somebody comes and he seduces her, he's going to be patur from paying her back. Okay? Says the Gemara. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Elazar, Beshitat Rabbi Akiva, Rabo Amara. Says Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Elazar is going in the shita of Rabbi Akiva, his rabbi. Why? The Amar, because he said that a na'ara that was nitarsa v'nitgarsha, remember, a na'ara that she was engaged and then she got divorced, yesh la knas, she gets a knas, as long as she was still a betula, obviously. Uknasa le'atzman, it goes to herself. So Rabbi Elazar goes like his rabbi, Rabbi Akiva. So says the Gemara, Mimai. How do we know this? Right? How does Rabbi Yochanan know that Rabbi Elazar holds like Rabbi Akiva? Midiktani, because we learned Yitoma. We learned about the Yitoma. Rabbi Elazar Omer ha'ones chayavam pateh potur, which means Rabbi Elazar says that somebody that violates her is going to be chayav. Somebody that seduces her is going to be patur. Yitoma, well, pshita. Oh, obviously, what are we then coming to teach you about a Yitoma? Right? That it's going to be that now she was nitarsa v'nitkarsha. Pshita, that she's like any other Yitoma. So he says, comes to teach you the na'arash nitarsa v'nitkarsha kitoma. A girl that she got engaged and then she got divorced, she's like a yitoma. What does that mean? My yitoma le'atzma, just like a yitoma goes to herself, af na'arash nitarsa v'nitkarsha le'atzma goes to herself. Amar Rabbi Zera, says Rabbi Zera, Amar Rabbi Shila, says Rabbi Shila, Amar Rabbi Nuna, Saba, Amar Rabbi Barav, Amar Rav, halakha is like Rabbi Elazar. The halakha is like Rabbi Elazar. So Kari Ravaleh de Rabbi Elazar, so Rabbi Elazar came and he said, right, Rav went and he read about Rabbi Elazar, Tovina de Chakime. What does that mean? Hameushar of the Chachamim. The one that's happy of the Chachamim. Why is he happy? Right? Because he says, it's Rabbi Elazar says that this is the one that was taught in the Mishnah. He's like Rabbi Elazar ben Shamu, the student of Rabbi Akiva. Okay, and therefore he comes and he says this was the Meushar. Why? Because they all died, if you remember the students of Rabbi Akiva. Until Rabbi Akiva taught, right, Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Shimon, and Rabbi Elazar. And this is Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua. So therefore they went and in Midu Torah Tasha, they were the ones that went and they instituted the Torah in the entire world. Says the Mishnah on Mem Amud Aleph. That says, Ezu Boshet. What exactly is Boshet? You know what Boshet is? Embarrassment. What is embarrassment? Busha. What is Boshet? He comes and he says, Akol Lefiyam Vayesh, right? Ve'amit Vayesh. Everything goes according to the mevayesh, the one that's embarrassing, and the one that got embarrassed, which means that if right now the bullshit is a person benoni, so therefore that's much more than an adam mezulzal, right? And that's even going to be more than an adam chashuv, ve'amit bayesh also. According to his importance, is going to be more busha. Meaning right now you come and you embarrass the homeless, right? So, okay, fine, there's an embarrassment, but it's not the same embarrassment you embarrass the homeless or you embarrass the president of the United States. You understand? You come and you throw a pizza pie or I don't know what, a cake in the president's face. It's not going to be the same exact punishment that you throw it in a homeless guy's face. It all according to the mevayesh ve'amit bayesh. What about gam? We come and we look at her like that she's a maidservant sold in the shuk. Kama ita yafa ve'kama hi yafa. How much is she worth as a betula and how much is she worth as a beula? Knas, what is knas? Shaveh bechol yom bechol adam. Knas is always the same as everybody. Right? The same halacha would apply to anything which is a kitzba, which means a sect fixed amount. So it's going to be the shaveh for everybody. Says the Gemara, why don't we just say 50 slaim? It could be anything. Why do we have to come and say that there has to be anything else? When the Torah came and it said 50 shekalim, 50 slaim. Come on, whoever told you that you need to pay other things as well? So Amar Rabbi Zera says Rabbi Zera. Yomru ba'al bat melachim 50, ba'al bat tzetitot 50. Give me a break. If he's going to come and violate a princess, he's going to pay 50. And now if he's going to come and he's going to violate some whatever it is, he's also going to pay 50? Obviously not. there has to be a differentiation between hierarchy and regular, middle class and low class. So Abaye comes and he says, Yachi, so Gabe Eved, what about Gabe Eved? Yeah, what about by a slave? Yeah, he comes and he says, Gabe Eved Nami. Yomru, they're going to come and they're going to say, right? Eved Nokev Margaliot Shoshim, right? A slave which he's coming and he's doing, all these diamonds. He's in Diamond International. Yeah, he's doing all these diamonds. He's going to come and he's going to be getting Shoshim. The Eved Oseh Memamubet. Maase Machat Shoshim. Meaning somebody that's working in the diamonds and somebody that's just some thing. You can't compare both of them together. What's going on? Yeah? So therefore, obviously, it's not the same. Memamubet, 40b. So Elamar Rabbi Zera, so says Rabbi Zera, Ilu Ba'u Alea Shnayim. What happens if two people have relations with her? Echad kedarka ve'echad shelo kedarka. One violated her in the normal way, and one violated her through the abnormal way, the other way, right? The back entrance. Yeah? Yomru Baal Shlema Chamishim, Baal Peguma Chamishim. Are you going to tell me that each one has to pay 50? The one that had regular relations with her has to pay 50 shekalim, and the ones that had relations through the back also going to pay 50 shekalim, right? Where's the difference between the pgima of that she was shlema or not? Meaning one was normal way and one was not the abnormal way. So says the Gemara, Abaye says, Yihachi, if so, he says, Gabe Even Nami, also by a slave. You're going to tell me now that by a slave, yeah, Yomru, Eved Bari, Shloshim, Ve'eved Mukashkin, Shloshim. You're going to tell me that a regular, healthy slave is going to be 30 shekalim, and an Eved Mukashin is also going to be 30 shekalim? What's going on? Elamar Abaye, but rather Abaye says, Amar, it says in the Pasuk, Tachat Asher Ina, because he afflicted her. What does that mean? Hani Tachat Asher Ina, from the fact that there's something which is Tachat Asher Ina, right? So it's mashma from this that the 50 shekel is not kolel the tashlum of the other things, which means that it's not the tachat asherina. So from here we learn that since it says tachat asherina because he afflicted her, there's something because of the affliction, and then there's other things as well. What is the other things? The bullshit and the begam, right, as well.
The 130, 115.
No. Rava comes and he says, it says in the pasuk, what does it mean now that he's going to give to the Avi Anara 50 kasef? Hanat shchiva 50. Right? Only the shchiva, the lying down itself with her was already 50 shekalim. But it's mashma that there's other hanaot as well, which means there's other things as well that you have to pay for. What is that? That is the other Boshet Gun as well. So Rava comes and he brings another pasuk to prove that besides the knas of the 50 shekel, he still has to pay an additional knasot, right? Or additional fees, as they say. So says the Gemara, the Elmaleh ledida. Fine. But maybe the Gam and the Boshe go to her. Meaning until now we always said that it goes to the Avi Nara. What goes to the Avi Nara? The Knas. The Knas goes to the father of the Nara. But maybe, right, this will go to her. Meaning the Boshe and the Gam goes to her. So Amar says in Pasuk, Binurea vetavia. What does that mean? To do with Hafarat Nedarim, it says whenever she makes a neder, the father annuls her Nedarim. Kol Shevach Neurea Lavia. Anything which is the appraisal of what she makes goes to her father. Your daughter goes and she makes money, it goes to her father, right? And therefore, the same halakha applies to the Boshet of Gam. That even though technically, she was the one that was embarrassed, she was the one that defected. No, it goes to the father. Which says the name of Rav. How do we know that whatever the daughter makes goes to her father? The daughter goes to camp, she makes $1,000, she gives, has to go to you. How do we know that? Says the Gemara, Shneimar, because it says in the pasuk, that a person is going to sell his daughter as a maidservant. Just like the maidservant, whatever she works goes to her master. So to the daughter, whatever she makes goes to her father. So lamali, why do we need this in? We already learned it from the pasuk of Binureh Betavia. And so the Gemara, there it's written only to do with Hafarat Nedarim. Meaning Hafarat Nedarim, you're right. The father annuls her Nedarim. But here we're talking about now who gets the money that she makes. That's something different. Fine, but learn it from Hafarat Nedarim. So he says, Mamona mi isura lo yafinan. You do not learn money from Isur. Hafarat Nedarim is an Isur. She made a neder on herself. She cannot eat pizza. Yeah? She made a neder. So now what happens? Right, you come and you do Hafarat Nedarim. That's an Isur. It's nothing to do with the money. Right? Here all of a sudden, it's to do with money. Where does the money go to? So the money is something different. So again, so he learned from the knas. She says, no, mamona miknasa lo yapin. We don't learn money from knas, right? Ela mistabra, but rather it's logical. Davia hame, right? That we're going to be saved misvara, that there's bullshit of gam that goes to the father. He could have given her to a menuval mukashkin. At the end of the day, the father could give his daughter to whoever he wants. He has the jurisdiction over the daughter that he could get married his daughter, whoever she wants. But he can also whatever he wants, not she wants. Whatever he wants, the father. Whatever the father wants, he can give it to even a menuval and even a mukashkin. So therefore, since right now the father could give her over to whoever he wants, he gets the money. So says the Gemara, and that's what the Gemara finishes off. So because of that, it comes out that the same thing with the ones or the pitui, also it goes to the father. Okay? Says the Gemara, whereby the two dots. Gam. So what is a gam? We come and we see as if that she's a shivcha, which is going to be sold to the shuk. How do we evaluate her? Amar Rav Shmuel, where the father Shmuel says, we're going to see what would a person pay to have a shivcha that she's a betula or a shivcha that she's a beula that she's working for him. What is the difference in price? So says the Gemara, shivcha beula l'shamsho benafkamine. What do you care? If you're only using her, right, as cleaning it, what do you care if she's a betula or a beula? What do you care right now? You don't care. So says the Gemara, no. Ela ben shivcha beula l'shivcha she'ena beula l'asiya lovdo. You need to get, you have avadim, and you're going to get your avadim married to shefachot. Yeah, and then they have children, and those children belong to you, right? So what happens? You have a eved, that he wants a shivcha. You're going to buy him a shivcha. What's the difference in price between a shivcha that she's a betula and a shivcha that she's a beula? She's a betula, she's got a higher price because the eved is going to appreciate it. This is a betula, he gets to get married to a betula. He appreciates it. No. So he comes and he says, so therefore, he comes and he says, we're talking about here that what? That he wants, that he's going to come and he's going to pay a difference. So he says, Ella ben shivcha beula l'shivcha she'eno beula l'asir lovdo, to get married to the eved. L'avdo menav kalmine. What does the eved care if the shivcha is a betula or beula? Why? All the purpose of the adom is just to have children. Meaning what? He wants to be a nice guy? At the end of the day, the adom, right, the master, he wants children. What do you do to have children? You have an eved, get a shivcha, they have children, right? And the children, right, how do you say in the pasuk? We say, right? That's what. But the children go to him, right? Go to the master. So what do we care? Answer the Gemara. No, the eved is such a good guy that the master wants to do him good. He wants to be nice to the eved. So he comes and he tells the eved, listen, right, what do you want? Right, what do you want? You want a betula or a beula? So because of that, there's going to be a difference, right, in what there is. Says the Mishnah, Mem Amud Bet, 40b, to be or not to be. Ya kol makom sheyesh mechet. Any time that the father can sell the daughter as an amah ha'ivriya and knas, there is no knas. Which means here, now we're going to come and make a distinction between katnut and na'arut, right? What does that mean? 1 second. So says the Gemara, anytime when there's the zechut of the father to come and to sell her, so therefore there is no knas. What does that mean? The father is not zakai in tashumei knas if she was in tzau nitpata. Why? Because this bat is not ruya liknas, right? V'chol makom sheyesh knas, right? And mechet. And whenever there is knas, there's no mechet. What does that mean? Let's explain. So now he says like this: Ketana yesh la mechet. He could come and he could sell the ketana. So the fact that he could come and he could sell the ketana, en la knas, there's no knas to the ketana. Right? Why? But since he could sell her, so there's no knas. Says the Mishnah, na'ara, there is a knas. So therefore, since there is a knas, and that knas goes to the father, so therefore, en la mechet, he cannot come and sell her anymore. Right? Which means that even if he actually went and she was already sold, she comes out lecherut once she becomes a na'ara. Okay? Very good. Ha-bogeret, and la lo mecher lo knas. The bogeret is completely off balance. Why? She already reached the age of 12 and a half. Now there's no knas and there's no mecher. He can't sell her. He can't do nothing. So there's nothing with the bogeret. Says the Gemara. Right? Amar of Yudah Amar Rav. Says of Yudah Amar Rav. These words are the words of Rabbi Meir, because Rabbi Meir says that a ketana does not get knas. Correct? That means if somebody comes and he violates a ketana, or he seduces a ketana, there's no knas. Aval chachamim omerim, but chachamim say yesh la knas. There is knas, right? Which means even mimkom mecher, which means even though the father could sell her, there's still a knas. The Tanya was learned to the right. Ketana mibat yom echad ve'ad shetavi shte serot. Doesn't matter from 1 day old until she brings 2 pubic hairs. Yesh la mecher ve'en la knas. There is mecher. There's no knas. Mishetavi shte serot. Once there's 2 pubic hairs. Ad she baget until she gets bogeret. She becomes a bogeret until she's 12 and a half. Yesh la knas ve'en la mecher. There is knas. There's no mecher. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir. So for our Mishnah, Rabbi Meir. Shayar Rabbi Meir Omer, Rabbi Meir says, "Kol makom sheyesh mecher." Anytime that he could sell her, there's no knas. Kol makom sheyesh knas. Anytime there's a knas, and mecher, there's no mecher. Chachamim omereim. Chachamim come and they say, "Ktana mibat shalosh shanim yom echad vat shetibaker yesh la knas." So no, the rabbis say that from shalosh shanim yom echad. Because remember, only from shalosh shanim yom echad now she's ruya lebiyah, because even if he didn't violate her beforehand, it's going to go back. Ad shetibager until bogeret, there is a knas. So says the Gemara, knas in mechelo. So he says, 1 second. From here we can make a duke that according to Chachamim there's only knas, but there's no mecher. Says the Gemara, no. Eima af knas bimkom mecher, which means that there's knas and mecher, which means that from 3 years until she becomes a nara, and mishnasit nara until she's shetibager, right? He comes and he says there's still going to be the zechut of knas, but there's no mecher. So Amar Rav Chasta says, Rav Chasta, my time at Rabbi Meir. What's the reasoning of Rabbi Meir? Why is it that Rabbi Meir came in and said that ones and mefateh, the ketana, does not pay knas? So imagine somebody goes with a 10-year-old, he seduces her or he violates her, there's no knas. What's the reasoning of Rabbi Meir? So he says, the pasuk says, "V'lo tiye li'isha v'me'ava atzma," katuv in the bed. When it says "V'lo tiye li'isha" means that she could be mekadeshet atzma, which means she's a nara, that she has dat. Once she's a nara, once she's 12 years old, she's a nara. Once she's a nara, she can marry herself, but not a ketana. Because a ketana, she can't marry herself off. So what does it mean, v'lo tiye li'isha? V'lo tiye li'isha means that she could be his wife. She can be his wife. Right? She doesn't even adapt. She doesn't even know what she's doing. The Rabbanan, so what's the reasoning of Rabbanan that there's still a knas? Amar Shakish, says Shakish, Amakar, the pasuk says, na'ara without the hay. It's written like na'ar, right? But we read it, na'ara. That's the way it's written in the Torah. So therefore it says that Shakish, the pasuk says na'ara, so therefore, and we read it na'ara, even though it's without the hay. So therefore, afilu ktana b'mashna. So the fact that it's written like na'ar instead of na'ara, the real way with the hay, so therefore it's even a ktana. So shame'ar Rav Papa bered Rav Hanan mi Bekluchit. So these words, Rav Papa, the son of Rav Hanan from Bekluchit, he went and he heard these words from Shakish. Amra kamei de Rav Shimi bar Ashim. He said in front of Rav Shimi bar Ashim. He went and he told him, Atuna hamatznitula. You guys are learning this klal of Shakish that a ktana has knas from there, which is from na'ar na'ara, right? The fact that it's written na'ar, even though you read it na'ara, anana hamatznitluna. But we are learning it from over here. Amar Shakish says Shakish hamotzi shemra la ktana. What happens if a person comes and is motzi shemra on his wife, but she's a ktana at the end of the day? That means he comes and he's motzi shemra on his wife, but she's a ktana. He's going to be patur from the halachot of shemra. Shneimar venatenu la'avia na'ara. Since there it's written na'ara maledi berakatuv. There it says na'ara with a hay. The fact that it says na'ara with a hay, it's na'ara mamash and not a ktana. So it's mashma that a ktana, there is no concept of motzi shemra. It's only by a na'ara with a hay. From the davka na'ara, not a ktana. So matkif Ravada comes and he asks the following question. Tamad ketav rachmana na'ara. That's only because the Torah actually wrote na'ara with a hay. Halav haki, but if the Torah did not write it with a hay, havamina afilu ktana, I would have thought even a ktana. V'aktiv it's written. Right? That if it was true, and they didn't find betulim to the na'ara, one second. What's the entire pasuk they're talking about? There, the entire pasuk is talking about that if Be'emet she did commit infidelity, she committed adultery, what do? You take her to the entrance of the father's house and you stone her. Ribono shel olam, you're going to stone a 10-year-old? Doesn't exist. There's no such thing as stoning or doing any punishment to a minor. It's only from bar mitzvah and above. So what are we talking about there? For sure it has to be a ketana. Because we said, if you would have written it na'ar instead of na'ara, you're right, it would have been a ketana. What are you talking about? That entire pasuk is only talking about a gdola, that she could receive mitah, she could receive sekilah. So says the Gemara, kan na'ara, hakol makom shneemar na'ara, afilu ketana b'mashal. Here, to do with motzi shemra, we have to say that it's a na'ara and not a ktana. And that's why the Torah wrote na'ara maleh. So from here we learn that any time when it's written na'ara without the hey, so then it could even be a ktana. Okay? Until here we finished Taf Mem Amud